Welcome to another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and this is where we say the quiet parts out loud about being better leaders. This is for people who want to lead better with clarity, humility, and purpose. So here we go. Right now, on today's episode, we're going to talk about your 2026 High Performance Leadership Roadmap. Yes, you are tuned into the Leading Life Podcast, where we talk about what it takes to grow, lead, and live with purpose. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and each episode here is designed to give you simple, real-world tools to help you show up as your best self in work and in life. You know, I started this podcast because I care deeply about the people who work for us and the leaders responsible for them. Everything I share comes from over 35 years of leading, coaching, mentoring, and motivating teams. Bottom line, I'm here to help leaders become even stronger leaders. And if you're not in a leadership position, that's okay. You're in the right place because I want you to know what to expect from your leaders. So let's build leadership and greatness together. All right, here we go. 2026 is coming fast. And if you're still leading the same way you did the last 2 years, you could already be falling behind. So today I want to give you a roadmap, not theory, not fluff, but a practical guide for becoming a high-performing leader in 2026 that your people really want to follow. Because high performance isn't pressure, it's clarity, it's trust, and most of all, it's consistency. Bottom line, your people crave authenticity and managers who treat them as real people rather than just resources. So I want you to think of this as like GPS. If any one of these ingredients is missing, then our performance can break down. So let's build the map based on real world examples of what works and not just AI answers that you can go get. These are all from my experiences. Number one, drive relentless clarity all day, every day. Yeah, be on top of this. High-performing teams don't guess, they know. Most frustration at work isn't laziness, it's ambiguity. So if your people are asking, what's the priority this week? Is what I'm doing in alignment with our established goals? Or what do you want me to focus on? That's not them failing. That's your leadership not being clear. So make this your 2026 standard. Clearly communicate priorities. Keep the goals simple and easy to understand. Keep repeating the message until you're tired of hearing it. If leaders don't define what they are doing and the next steps with clarity, then you end up with a team that's working in silos and then going in different directions. In 2026, leaders are moving away from complex long-form directives in favor of strategic clarity and a practice that prioritizes streamlined communication and actionable outcomes over just meeting after meetings over the same things. I love when companies come out like with these year goals, you know, like their mission for the year and their goals for the year, and they say, oh, we're going to keep it simple with only 5 things. And then maybe a quarter into the year, they come out with 5 more things. And then halfway through the year, they're like, you know what? We've recommitted on our goals, and now we're going to add 5 more. So as leaders, let's do the work of defining our own why and long-term vision before attempting to communicate it to others. I'm an optical. My goal every day is that everyone walks out of my business seeing their lives better. It's as easy as that. And if you need to use frameworks like SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, then that's the way to go. So in 2026, leaders must answer these questions constantly. Where are we going? Why does it matter? And what does winning actually look like? It's really as simple as that. So again, number one, drive relentless clarity all day, every day. All right, number 2. Emotional control is the new authority. Yeah, here's the hard truth. Your nervous system and the energy you exude sets the tone for the room. Trust me, I've learned the hard way on this. Neuroscience tells us that when leaders are unpredictable, the brain shifts into a threat mode. And when people feel threatened, performance drops. High performance requires psychological safety, not softness. Some simple ways to achieve this is by waking up 30 minutes earlier than required, so you can secure a distraction-free quiet time before digital demands intervene. This period is often used for mindful practices such as meditation, deep breathing, or journaling to help clear mental clutter and foster emotional intelligence. Strategic centering also requires mental preparation and intentional planning. Effective leaders often use their morning routine to revisit their core values and their long-term vision. That ensures that their daily actions align with a broader purpose. This may include like a power hour where they identify the top 3 high priority tasks, often eating the frog by tackling the hardest one first. That builds up early momentum. So when you establish these rituals, us leaders can show up with a grounded presence that ripples outward. You don't need to be loud to be strong. You just need to be a little more regulated. So in 2026, the most powerful leaders are going to stay calm under pressure, don't emotionally leak stress onto their teams, and they're able to have the hard conversations without defensiveness. So again, number 2, emotional control is the new authority. All right, number 3, create trust through consistency. Charisma gets attention all the time, but consistency earns loyalty. Trust isn't built in speeches, it's built in the small moments. So you're responding when someone reaches out. You're giving credit publicly. You're addressing issues privately and respectfully. In 2026, be boringly reliable, because that's what high performers crave. Every couple of years we get these new leaders who come in my particular business with all this enthusiasm. And I love it, right? Let me be clear. I love the enthusiasm, but many times it's often all surface. They don't really dig in and learn the nitty gritty of the job. They talk at the meetings. They use a lot of $5 words, but after 6 months, it starts to fade because they can't maintain it. You can't maintain what isn't legit from the get-go. There is no fake it till you make it, but there is fake it until everyone figures you out. So in 2026, consistency remains the bedrock of effective leadership, and it fosters psychological safety that teams need to navigate the constant technological and economic shifts. So in 2026, remember, your people are watching. Did you follow through? Did you keep your word? Are your standards fair or are they selective? Nobody should ever have to second guess your motives. So number 3 on your roadmap is create trust through consistency. Okay, so number 4, standards. Yeah, let's keep the standards clear, human, and non-negotiable. High-performing cultures don't guess what good looks like. Avoiding standards doesn't make you kind, it makes you confusing. And confusion is really exhausting. So high standards plus high support will mean that your team will always be working together in a synergy. My biggest mistake as a leader has been when I have not made our standards crystal clear. Most importantly, the non-negotiable part. If someone is not performing to standard, and I mean as something as being late to work consistently, they just flat out need to go. Let me be crystal clear. Anything that's holding your team back and you've already coached to it and you've tried to fix it and it's not moving forward, that person needs to be off your team. When you don't hold the line of expectation and standard, you punish yourself, your team, and that person. Why? Because you're quite simply allowing them to fail. Never forget that. You're allowing them to fail. I once had this young person working for me, and for the life of her, she could not show up on time. And I warned her over and over, and I said, listen, don't force my hand because the next thing we're going to do is go to write-up, and if it has to go beyond that, I'm going to have to let you go. And we ended up actually writing her up and terminating her. And she went to work for another company. A year later, I run into her at this coffee place adjacent to my job. And I hear this voice behind me. It's like, hi, Andy. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And she looks at me and she goes, you were right. And I inquired, right about what? I was late to my new job consistently. I didn't listen. And they fired me as well. So she goes, lesson learned. In 2026, learning how to articulate clear expectations is considered an act of kindness and a strategic necessity. Yes, as it directly mitigates the scary guesswork that fuels workplace anxiety. And to achieve this, you must shift from vague instructions to behavioral specific language, replacing a general request like, let's improve customer service, with more of a measurable goal, such as respond to all questions within 24 hours. This process is most effective when it's a two-way dialogue. So rather than merely broadcasting requirements, us leaders should invite team members to repeat expectations back in their own words to ensure full alignment, and then uncover those potential roadblocks earlier on. So leaders in 2026 must define standards clearly, coach to them early, and address the misses quickly but humanely. All right. So that was number 4 on our leadership roadmap, making the standards clear, human, and non-negotiable. Ready for number 5? Yeah, development, coaching, not just managing. Yeah, if you want high performance, you must grow people, not just monitor them. You do not want to leave any of your people in struggle mode. It really kills me when I see directors and managers know that someone needs help and they can't even pull them aside and offer the support and help they need. People don't leave companies, they leave stagnation. Every leader is a developer of people, or they're going to be obsolete. So in 2026, coaching high performers has shifted from correcting weaknesses to a partnership model. Our most effective leader coaches act as facilitators of self-discovery rather than dispensers of advice. They use powerful questioning to help performers unlock their potential and take ownership of their growth. And once again, this relies on a foundation of psychological safety, where performers feel secure enough to take risks, admit mistakes, and voice contrary opinions without the fear of retribution. And I know we talked about this on another episode, but a great model is the GROW model, which is goal, reality, options, and way forward. So your goal is defining exactly what the performer wants to achieve. Your reality is assess the current situation and identify the barriers. Options is explore various possible solutions or strategies without the leader dictating the path. And then way forward is establish a concrete action plan with specific deadlines and agreed upon checkpoints for accountability. A couple of reminders as well. Ask, don't tell. Use open-ended questions to encourage deeper reflection. Stay focused on their strengths. Rather than just fixing people, tap into their unique signature strengths to boost energy and long-term resilience. Establish regular rhythms. The best coaches move away from an annual review to more frequent, meaningful check-ins, often called coaching conversations. Also, make sure you're balancing support with the challenge. So create an environment that is supportive enough for trust, but challenging enough to stretch the performer beyond their comfort zone. And then listen for the music, not just the lyrics. Yeah, pay attention to nonverbal cues like tone and body language to understand their emotional context of the conversation. And then lastly, co-create next steps. Ensure the performer is a partner in the planning process. Don't be the leader that when you see somebody faltering, you don't jump in and support with the right questions. So simply, those are: what do you need to succeed? What's blocking you? And what skill would change everything for you this year? So that's number 5 on our roadmap, which is development, coaching, not managing. All right. Number 6, we are going to talk about feedback. Annual reviews are dead. Let's be honest. By the time we get them, it's usually past the first quarter of the year. You're already into the second. You're already planning mid-year. And it's late in my book. I don't even know why we're acting on that. High-performing leaders in 2026 give feedback in real time. They separate behavior from identity, and they make feedback feel like help and not a judgment. Feedback delayed is just feedback denied. So our standard in 2026 is saying it sooner, saying it clear, and saying it with care. Leaders recognize that for feedback to be effective, you want to anchor again. Here we go. Psychological safety, where team members feel secure enough to take interpersonal risks without fear. So rather than using outdated feedback sandwiches, effective leaders now prioritize radical candor, combining authentic care with direct and behaviorally specific insights that help employees adjust in real time. And some of the best ways you can do that is establishing a multi-directional loop. So move beyond just top-down critiques by actively soliciting bottom-up feedback to improve your own leadership and foster a culture of mutual accountability. Or the SBI model, which is situation, behavior, impact, right? That framework is used to keep feedback objective, describe the specific situation, the observable behavior, and the tangible impact it has on the team or projects. And then focus on feed forward. Instead of dwelling solely on past errors, orient the conversation toward future solutions and actionable next steps to maintain the momentum and, most importantly, the morale. And then remember the 5 C's of psychological safety, that thing we keep talking about. It is clarity, candor, curiosity, commitment, and consistency. Let's say it again. Clarity, candor, curiosity, commitment, and consistency. And here is something: if you really want to up your game, leverage digital tools. You have platforms like Lattice or 15.5 to maintain a steady pulse of recognition and guidance. So high-performing leaders in 2026, they give feedback in real time, they separate behavior from identity, and they make feedback feel like help, not judgment. That was number 6 on our roadmap. Feedback, fast, honest, and safe. All right, number 7, lastly, your self-leadership is the foundation of success in 2026. And this is the part that most leaders skip. Your energy, your health, your mindset, and your discipline. If you're not good for you first, then how are you going to be good for them? If you're burned out, defensive, or constantly reactive, your team's going to feel it before you admit to it. High-performing leadership starts inside. So lead yourself like someone your people deserve. As I always say, be the leader you want to work for. Be the leader who has it all. And that requires a shift from traditional command and control to more human-centric partnership, which that will prioritize personal accountability and empathy. And it begins with rigorous self-awareness. You must constantly monitor yourself, how you own your actions, your nonverbal cues, especially during the high-stress moments. That sets the standard for your team's reactions. By modeling the same vulnerability, growth mindset, and healthy work-life boundaries you expect from others, you create a psychologically safe atmosphere that allows your team to rise to their own potential. So that is number 7. Your self-leadership is the foundation of success for 2026. So quick recap. Number 1, drive relentless clarity all day, every day. Number 2, emotional control is the new authority. Number 3, create trust through consistency. Number 4, make sure your standards are clear, human, and non-negotiable. Number 5, focus on development, more coaching, not managing. Number 6, provide feedback, fast, honest, and safe. And then lastly, 7, your self-leadership is the foundation. And this is your call to arms for the episode. 2026 doesn't need louder leaders, but it needs steadier ones. And we need to be the ones with clear direction, with a calm presence, with real standards that are relatable and easy to grab onto. We lead with human leadership. So here's your question. Which part of your roadmap is missing? Fix that, and the performance will follow. Remember, great leaders don't demand performance. They design environments where it becomes inevitable. All right, so that's my episode. I hope this impacted you for the better. And if it did, please leave me a rating or review. And please hit subscribe so you don't miss another episode of the Leading Life podcast. And until next time, I want you to lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep becoming who you were meant to be. But most importantly, go out and be the hero of somebody's story today. All right, we'll talk soon. See you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.